Okay, we're live. I believe we're live. Hello, it's Dr. Tom. It's our Tuesday Facebook Live. And if you can hear me and see me out there, give me a little hoot, a little thing, a little something. Today's topic is hitting the wall when sick loved ones don't want to listen. And so I think this is a great topic. Oh, here comes some thumbs up. Thank you so much. Oh, hello, Michelle. And hello from Michelle Woods in West Virginia. I think, and Missy's there from Chattanooga. Hey, Missy, hi. Oh, good, good. Some of the crew is there. Thank you. So hitting the wall when sick loved ones don't want to listen. For any of you that are parents, or if you have loved ones from Italy, Monica Buffini in Italy. Well, ciao, Monica. I'm in Torbole right now. Yes, everyone, I'm in northern Italy on Lake Garda doing this. It's 1 a.m. here, but it's our standard time for Facebook Live, so hello. When sick loved ones don't want to listen, if you're a parent, you live sometimes for years with this. I can testify of living for, I have to look over here. Yeah, there you are. Okay, I look at myself all the time and I have to remember to look over here. So for years as a parent, it's been really tough because, you see your kids doing things that are, eating sweets and all that kind of stuff that you really wouldn't want them to eat. And I thought that we were doing it right. And I think many of the things we did right, I'll share with you some of those. For example, our kids were allowed to have a treat once a day, once every couple of days, something like that, but not that we put boundaries around it. And that seemed to work really well overall. My dad didn't listen. I've cremated him now. Sorry to be morbid. I'm so sorry. My mother-in-law is diabetic and does not want to change her eating habits, even though I've given her resources to help her learn other alternatives. Exactly. That's what we're all up against, especially with something like diabetes. It's so, I shouldn't say easy, but it's such a successful condition to work with is diabetes. And many, many times in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, you see blood sugars coming down. You see insulin levels being more, the body using insulin, so insulin sensitivity goes up. The opposite is called insulin resistance, meaning the insulin's not working and you need more, you need other drugs to help the insulin work. That goes down in just a few weeks with diabetes, because as is true with most conditions, it's what's on the end of the fork that's a big problem. I have a cold. Yeah, it hit me. I get sick about once every 2-3 years, and I've had a cold now for a couple of days, and it's deep in the lungs and all that. But I'm fine, but if I cough, that's why. So when you see your parents or your children doing these things, how do you deal with that? And so I've got 3 or 4 points to bring up that I think may be helpful for you in that situation. With our kids, we try to give them boundaries. Now they're both adults, young adults in their 30s, and they're doing fabulously. They're wonderfully healthy. My daughter now is married and has a child. I'm a grandfather. And for her baby, whatever it takes, Dad, whatever it takes. If it makes sense to her, she's going to do it. It's like, don't mess with my baby. And so that's a time in a person's life when you can really have a good impact. And at theDr.com, we're looking to do more education programs for pregnant moms and women of childbearing age and young moms of tools to help their kids' brains develop more. But education. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth, about feeling better soon. Thank you. Oh, thanks, you guys. Oh, a bunch of you are doing that. Oh, hello, Fiona. Thanks for watching. So what are some of the tricks with education? My son, very, very smart guy, and I found the way that worked with him when he was a teenager was just to say, well, Jason, you know, those French fries, those fats, they're called transformed fatty acids. They're like bad fats for you. French fries taste great, and I like French fries, but when you eat them too much, those fats, they stay in your blood for 57 days. And you know how you're wanting to play soccer and run really long and fast and kick strong, and when you got these bad fats in your blood, you get short of breath quicker. And these bad fats, they stay in your blood for 57 days, so it affects your athletic performance. So that caught his attention right away. So with boys and teenage boys, if you talk about performance, if you look at some of the stats on performance, and just tell me, I say, you know, Jace, you know, I remember you had French fries 2 days ago, man. You do it again, it's okay. But, you know, you got a soccer game coming up in a couple of days, and if you don't play very well, you know, if you're huffing and puffing on the field, which you normally don't, and this may be a reason why. And then when he's huffing and puffing on the field a couple days later, you know, I'm not going to say much, but, you know, hashtag I'm just saying French fries, you know, or whatever it should be. So education, education, education. And my kids didn't want to hear it most of the time. They just didn't want to hear it. Hi, Karen Griswold. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Fiona, for your good wishes for these lungs of mine. Thank you. But my response to my children was, well, guys, I'm your dad. It's my job. You may decide you're not going to do anything with this. You may throw the information out, but you're going to know the information. And it's up to you with what you do with it, you know. And so, and I would give the information. I would just deliver the information in as non-threatening a way as possible. My first Dr. Tom live video. Hello from Canada, Chris. Well, it's nice to meet you, Chris. Thanks for watching. When I would talk to them about pieces of information like powdered vitamin C, you know, guys, you can just take this scoop, put this in your water or in your juice or, you know, whatever you're drinking, and it's just going to strengthen your system so you don't get sick like your friends. Listen to me talk today. But, you know, so you don't get sick. It's simple. It's a no-brainer. And we'd leave it on the counter. It was always accessible. It wasn't in the cabinet because if they don't see it, they don't think about it. So we always tried to make vitamins and protein powders and things accessible. That's a big component here. Let's see, please look after your health. Oh, thank you. You look worrying. Oh, thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you so much. I'm good. We're really happy. My wife and I are together here, and I just caught something. I got a little rundown, pushing a little too hard. So now it's R&R. Except tonight, you know, it's 1 a.m. here, and we're doing this, but that's fine. I'm happy to do it. You know, I get joy out of doing this, and your comments are always great. The questions you ask, the comments you make, and when you share this, and other people tune in later in the week because you shared it, and they come back with, oh my God, it's reinforcing for me. It really is great to see these types of responses. So thank you for being a part of this. One of the topics for this topic of hitting the wall when sick ones don't want to listen is patience. You know, it's taken us years to learn what we've learned to be healthy. Years. And yet, when we know these facts, the truth of these facts, we want our families or our loved ones to jump on it right now. And we don't pay attention that, like for me, it took me 8 years to give up Christmas cookies. 8 years. You know, I stopped eating sugar and sweet things a long time ago, but we go back to my family's for Christmas, and my mother would make all these different kinds of cookies, and I grew up on that stuff, you know, and it's like comfort food galore. Well, I'll just have one, you know, and then I'd have one, and then and it was off to the races from there. Drive back home to Chicago after the holidays and feel terrible, take a week or 2 weeks to detox. And it took me 8, and I would say every time, oh, I don't know why I ate those things. I just feel terrible. What's the matter with me? I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to have those cookies anymore. And the next year I'd do it again. So I laugh about it now, you know, but it's about having patience and kindness. You guys remember I've talked about The Tibetan term that's a principle that I live by is called Maitri. I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation, but it's spelled M-A-I-T-R-I, Maitri, or Maitri, and it means loving kindness and an unconditional friendship with oneself. So I stopped beating myself up about Christmas cookies, at some point, and then I just stopped. But with our loved ones, it hurts us to see them eating these things or doing these things that we know are a problem for them. And if they don't listen to us right away, we get all upset. We get up in arms and express our frustration. And what's the matter with you? As my godmother say, what's the matter for you, right? Kindness and patience. So patience, education, education, education. When you're sitting at the dining room table or the kitchen table, or you've got a few minutes and you're eating together, or you're in the kitchen having a coffee together, or whatever it should be, you throw a little pearl out there. Guys, Uncle Bob has to take cholesterol medication, and it keeps his cholesterol down, which protects his heart, which is really great. However, there are side effects to most medications, and one of the side effects of cholesterol medication is that it can cause a depletion in your muscles of these nutrients that are really important. People get muscle diseases from taking cholesterol drugs. So the science is really clear, and Uncle Bob has started taking coenzyme Q10 because CoQ10 brings more energy into the muscle cells. And you've been really tired lately. Your muscles aren't doing well. You're just tired walking upstairs. So I bought a bottle of CoQ10. Let's take some CoQ10 and just see if it seems to help your muscles feel a little better. And you kind of throw it in there any way you can. But patience and a little bit of education. Create a supportive environment. Make the foods easily accessible. Right now, where we are here, we have a bowl of fruit on the counter so that anytime there's a snack, a desire for a snack, there's fruit there, and other things that we can grab. But you just want to make these things accessible. If it's in a refrigerator, I may not remember to get it. I may just not think, oh yeah, it's in there. I may not just walk over to get it, but if it's right on the counter, I may grab it. So if you're dealing with your kids, your high school kids, I thought statins were a direct cause for Alzheimer's and dementia from Gary Clemens. There is some evidence that they contribute, Gary, to breach of the blood-brain barrier and inflammation in the brain. And the poor utilization of glucose and insulin in the brain. Yeah, that's one of the mechanisms. So if you make foods available, if you make snacks available, what are the common snacks that I've recommended for years? Mrs. Patient, go to the store, health food store, buy a pound of 5 or 6 different kinds of nuts. Walnuts, Brazil nuts, macadamia nuts, roasted peanuts, cashews, almonds. Mix them all up in a great big bag. Keep them in the freezer. And just have a bowl that you scoop out of that big bag of mixed nuts. Have a bowl on the counter. And when your family comes home after school or after work, they grab a handful of nuts. And they'll eat a handful of nuts while they're waiting for dinner. There are so many studies on the value of nuts to reduce cardiovascular disease. Make it accessible. You can't have it in the freezer or in the refrigerator or in the cupboard and expect your family to eat it. So you have to make it accessible. Or for you yourself, just watch. Oh yeah, I've had the nuts in there for 2 weeks. I haven't remembered to get them. Put them on the counter and just put enough on the counter for a couple of days. You don't put a week's worth out there, but just for a couple of days. And the results are you walk by, you just grab a handful. Keeps your blood sugar stable, keeps your cholesterol stable, reduces your risk of cardiovascular disease dramatically. And each nut, each family of nuts has different benefits, different results. So there's no one nut that does them all, right? So do a mixture. The only ones that are roasted are peanuts. The rest of them are raw. And do organic. And you'll be really happy that you did. Do I recommend raw nuts? Yes, Jen, I do. I've just munched on almonds. Way to go, Lakshmi. How about when you tell them about what they should, and I can't see the rest of what you wrote there, Elizabeth, what they should not do, and then the response is, I'm going to die anyway, might as well die of something. Well, that's a very frustrating position that person has. They don't know that they can feel better. So one of the things that helps is, can you give me 2 days? Can you give me 2 days of eating the foods that I recommend you eat for 2 days? Just 2 days. And let's see how you feel. Or 1 day. Can you just do it for 1 day? And when you start with baby steps, and people notice they feel better with baby steps, then they're more likely to carry it forward for another day or a few days, that they'll keep doing it. But if you say, well, you got to stop eating this and stop eating this and stop eating this, it's overwhelming for them. I'm going to die of something. I might as well die of this. Well, that's just a place of hopelessness and not knowing that there is a venue, there is a way that's not too difficult where they can feel better. Hello from Brazil, Maria Alice Rocha. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. My wife and I were in Sao Paulo about a month ago. It was great. It was a beautiful trip. We spent some time on the beach. It's lovely there. I lectured to a group of medical doctors for 2 full days on autoimmunity, and it was so well received. I know I'll be coming back. So, hello from Brazil. Oh, and my book, The Autoimmune Fix, is coming out in Portuguese. It should be out anytime pretty soon now. So I'll make an announcement here on theDr.com. So for those of you watching, if you go to our website, theDr.com, and just like us, or you like us on Facebook, that'll be fine. And if you go to theDr.com and register there, we send announcements out every once in a while. So you'll get the announcement when my book is being published in Portuguese and Polish and German right now, which is really great, really great. I'm looking forward in Spanish. We haven't quite dialed that one down yet, but I'm looking for that one. Let's see. I'm allergic to all nuts. Oh, IgG and IgE. Well, Norma, that means nuts are out of the picture for you, my friend. You find other ways to reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease. How? Good fats. Really good fats are good for you. Fat is not a 4-letter word. Fat is not bad for you. Bad fats are bad for you. So when you do good fats, my friends, Dr. Stephen Masley's got a great program on that. Dr. Mark Hyman, Mark's got a great program on that. So since you're sensitive to nuts, you can't do nuts, learn more about fats. Because there are many ways. Remember, I've said this before, the pleiotropic approach, really good Scrabble word. The pleiotropic approach means all roads lead to Rome. All roads lead to Rome, so that's pleiotropic. So to reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease or brain dysfunction, it's not just nuts. Why do you guys think a walnut, when you crack a walnut open and you look at the meat, it kind of looks like your brain, doesn't it? If you think about it, you see a drawing or a picture of the brain, and you look at the walnut. Why do you think it looks like a brain? The fats in walnuts are great for your brain. There are so many benefits to walnuts. Enhancing neurotransmitters, those are your nerve hormones. My new book comes out in May, and we just changed the name of it last night. I'd actually like your feedback, if you guys wouldn't mind. The working title was Fix Your Body, Fix Your Brain. That was the working title. And just last night, Fix Your Body, Fix Your Brain, 1 hour a week to the most vibrant energy, best sleep that you've ever had. So that was the working title. And now we've changed it to The Autoimmune Brain. Because the message of the book is that you don't fix your brain by working on your brain. You fix your brain by working on your body and what's triggering all the inflammation, the autoimmune mechanisms that sets off the brain dysfunction. So we've just changed it. I'd welcome your feedback on that if you guys can feel up to it. Hi, Jamie. Thanks for your comments. Love the Tuesday talks. Thank you, Jamie, in New York. Oh, stay warm. I understand you guys got hit last week. Hope all is okay for you. And Clarence. Hello, Clarence Dolan. He wrote long, L-O-O-O-O-O-N-G. Hello, Clarence. My doctor says we should rotate nuts. Walnuts on Monday, Brazil nuts on Tuesday. He's got the right idea. Same concept. The way that I've always recommended it is to put them all in a big Ziploc bag, mix them all up, and take a bowl and just do a handful of mixed nuts. You can do single type of nuts. Sure. No reason why not. No reason why not. So patience, Support, create a easy environment, have the foods on the table, have the beverages easily accessible that they like, learn a new recipe. I've said this for years. I remember I came out in practice in 1980. We opened on Valentine's Day in 1980. And I used to go in the room and I'd walk in with a new patient and they look and say, "You're the doctor?" You know, because I look so young. But one of the recommendations that I made was, of course, about nuts, but also on foods. Mrs. Patient, make a deal with your family. Every Tuesday night, we're going to try a new recipe from this cookbook that I have. Once a week. Once a week, I'm going to try a new recipe because it takes a lot of time to try a new recipe. Why? Because you have to read the recipe, write down the list of ingredients, go to the store and buy them, come home, read the recipe again, and then make this thing, whatever it is. There's some great cookbooks out there. There's really good recipes in the Autoimmune Fix, folks, and really good recipes coming with the Autoimmune Brain also. But you make this deal with your family once a week. And if you guys don't like it, we'll have pizza. And you have frozen pizzas in the freezer. So if you need it, you pull it out really quickly, put it in the oven, and it's done in 20 minutes or something, right? So you make a deal with your family. If they don't like it, don't force them to eat it. Have backup available. And then just talk about, well, what was it that you didn't like? Was it the consistency, the taste? And you know, if you guys can have authentic conversation, create an environment for authentic conversation, mom can learn how to get into their kids' taste buds. And most kids are pretty defiant. You know, they just want what they want because there's no room for discussion. There's no room to explore. And I'm all about kids and their brains and create an environment for them to explore. You've all heard me say this mess we have on our planet now. The only way I know to fix this mess is the next generation. You know, this thing that Einstein said, the problems we've created today cannot be solved with the same level of thinking that created the problem. We have to up our game. But the adults aren't going to up their game. We don't have the plasticity for that. So we have to create the environment for our kids to think outside the box. And it's your job as parents to create the environment inside their body as don't feed them junk. So if they're all into cupcakes and all that kind of stuff, get healthier cupcakes. Get recipes and bake healthier cupcakes while you transition them. I think many of you have heard my recipe for applesauce. Thanks, Cheryl, for the vote of confidence. And Kristen, would you suggest those on statins have their... Would I suggest that people on statins have their levels measured? Is it safe to consume if they are dealing with muscle issues? Oh, CoQ10 is safe. Yeah, it's very safe. The toxic dose, you'd have to eat half a bottle or a full bottle of the vitamins to have any complication. Is very safe, as far as I know, for everyone. I've not known anyone that had a problem with CoQ10. So create healthy environments. Learn new recipes once a week. You don't have time to change. Throw out everything you've cooked forever and just start something new right now. But Mrs. Patient, once a week, make a deal with your family. And if it bombs, you have pizza. Once a week, that means at the end of the year, if half of them bomb, half of them bomb, that means at the end of the year, you have 26 new recipes that your family will eat. You know, Babe Ruth struck out way much more than he hit home runs, you know. So stop going for home runs. If we just go for base hits, just little wins. One of the biggest wins that you can do for your own health and for your kids and your family, first thing in the morning, first thing in the morning, everybody goes to the bathroom. Usually that's the first thing you do. What's the next thing you do? Drink 2 big glasses of water immediately, before anything else. 2 big glasses of water. Why? You'll see. Within a couple days, you'll see your bowels are working really better than they've worked in a long time. Your energy's up. You feel great. So 2 big glasses of water. Set it up. Your kids wake up in the morning. You got to drag it to get them out of bed because their thyroids aren't working too well. They're coming downstairs. Here, drink some water. Oh, Mom, drink some water. And you just start getting them to drink water. Karen Crandall says, hi, Mom. Okay. Elizabeth Rodriguez, thank you for the tips. You're welcome, Elizabeth. Michelle Beebe, how can I get rid of rheumatoid arthritis? Read my book, The Autoimmune Fix, and watch the series Betrayal. Betrayal is at theDr.com /betrayal, and you will listen to people testify how they reverse their rheumatoid arthritis. Betrayal is about reversing autoimmune diseases. My book, The Autoimmune Fix, is about reversing autoimmune diseases. Correct that. It's about arresting, that's what the scientists say, arrest the development of autoimmune disease. And many times in functional medicine, we see that we reverse it. Many, many times. When my son was a toddler, he only wanted pasta, dairy, and sweets. That's because it's all sugar. You gave him apple juice when he was an infant or something like that. Somehow his body got primed to crave sugar. And they demand sugar. And they want more sugar. And they won't eat anything but sugar. That's the syndrome. So you have to transition out of that syndrome. It's not easy to do, but there's a method to the madness. So there's a way to get out of it. And there are books on this, and there are programs on this. This is not, you can't do it in 5 minutes here, you know. But the reason they want pasta and fruit juice and fruit and candy, it's all sugar. Carbohydrates are sugars. We need to transition more to vegetables. If you raise your kids every day, there's a vegetable at every meal, at least one vegetable at every meal. And the goal is that you get up to at least half the plate of what you eat at a meal is vegetables. Half the plate. When I'm at home, my wife has not been able to be home with me, you know, because immigration visa stuff for the last year. When I make breakfast at home, I saute up a bunch of vegetables and then throw a couple eggs in there at the end. You know, so I got a big plate of vegetables with scrambled eggs mixed in with it. And I feel great. It's just wonderful. Vegetables, more vegetables, the better. Let me see if I got everything here. The environment, create a supportive environment, the foods, allow for a transition, be patient, Maitri, loving kindness with an unconditional friendship with yourself, but loving kindness with your family. Don't demand that they do this immediately. Help them transition. Patience, patience, patience. Let's see. Norman says, how long have you been free of Christmas cookies now? Oh my gosh, I think since 1990. About 1990, Norman. And Gary, nightshades can be a problem though, right? Yeah, some people are very sensitive to nightshades, and they tend to cause problems in the joints. Joint pain, muscle pain, could be other symptoms, but nightshades are a common family that people can be sensitive to. All right, folks, I'm not quite at my best today, so I'm going to wrap this one up. Make some comments. Tell us what you think. I read all of these. My staff and I both read all of these. Like us, please. Share this if you think it's worth sharing with others. Get my book, The Autoimmune Fix, and I will see you next Tuesday at the same time. Thanks so very much, and have a good week. Bye-bye.